We are live, and it's a very special edition of SNL. It's going to be a kickoff in about 5 hours, post-game show in about 8, and then Reaction Monday, quick turnaround tomorrow, Reaction Tuesday, actually. But the game that we've been talking about, the game that I think could be the turning point for the Texans season, massive opportunity. It is hours away, and I couldn't be more excited to see how this whole thing goes, how it all plays out here on SNL. Landry Locker, Cody Stoots with you.
The prove it game for me. Prove it on so many levels. Prove that you have gotten further and further away from that 0-3 start. Prove that you can right the ship. There's so many elements of this matchup that if you beat the Seattle Seahawks and you take care of business against them, it shows not only the rest of the league, but it shows the guys in the mirror. They know that they're headed in the right direction, and they are a capable football team that just made some mistakes early, and they've bounced back, and they're on the right path away from those mistakes.
And we got some news earlier today. The Texans activated Danico Autry, and they also they activated Jalen Reed. So I don't know what this looks like. We'll see what the who the inactives will be and all that shortly. But I don't know what I know. They love the idea of Danico Autry. Be interesting to see how that fits. And then Jalen Reed, man, it would have been nice to see him get more reps than he's already gotten instead of having to throw him to the Wolves. And these are absolute Wolves if he had to step on the football field, which I don't think is their dream scenario, especially on the defensive side of things.
Yeah, it's a very interesting situation with Reed because he had like some really nice moments early on in training camp, and then he's been gone since then. And I know he's practiced a few weeks with the team, but that's a couple of practices in the season. You can't garner too much from that. So he's going to be kind of flying blind whenever he gets on the field, if that is indeed in this one. And then Danico Autry, I mean, he didn't even practice on Saturday. Like he didn't even practice in the light day. So I don't know how they're going to use him. He could be inactive, or Darrell Taylor could be inactive, and then he could have Darrell Taylor's reps, which is very minimal anyway. But the idea for Danico Autry, I suppose, would be, hey, we got you for 10, 12 snaps. Just go 100% and give us everything on those 10, 12 snaps and hope you get something out of him if they decide to play him in this matchup.
That'll be something to keep an eye on as well. Expect a pretty healthy Seattle team relative to what they've been in the secondary as well. That'll be interesting to see when that drops as well.
They also promoted for the final time from the practice squad that he's eligible to do that, D'Angelo Ross. So is the D'Angelo Ross defensive player possibility still going to happen for this matchup? So that's something to pay attention to if you see him running out on the field.
Yeah, they can't quit D'Angelo Ross. We can definitely see that. On the super chat here on SNL, Landry Locker, Cody Stoots with you.
You ain't never hate.
Swarm.
Biased H-Town says hospital speakers, Captain Kirk has arrived.
Captain Kirk has arrived. I repeat, Captain Kirk has arrived.
Yes, he has. Very frustrating first few weeks with Christian Kirk, I will say.
Yeah, and with this being a hamstring, it doesn't feel like it's one of those just a week type things either. So it could linger into another game. And I mean, for a guy that they brought over in the same way and the same approach that they brought over Joe Mixon, he's had the literal opposite effect of what first-year Joe Mixon had, which is Mixon was very integral to their offense last year. Christian Kirk has basically given them nothing to this point.
Well, the other thing is, like, I mean, this is 2 injuries where you've had like gaps between games. Like this is this is like not real games, unless you maybe Kirk nicked it up in the final preseason game. Don't know, but like this is literally before the season started and before the season resumed after the bye week, where the soft tissue stuff happened.
What's he doing away from the field?
I really don't know.
What's he getting into away from the field?
I really don't know. I have no idea. I got nothing for you on that. Logan Taylor says, how do you see them utilizing Autry if he plays, and if Jalen Reed plays, you see both on a pitch count? I don't think Jalen Reed is someone that they want to put on the field on defense. I think in their perfect world, MJ Stewart is their safety, and they figure that out. They had worked him at normal safety. And he was having a good camp, I'll say. Not a close to the line of scrimmage guy. They were playing him at traditional safety, but As far as a pitch count, I mean, I think if Jalen Reed's active, he's going to be playing special teams, and I would say a large chunk of the special teams. As far as Autry, I mean, naturally you have a pitch count because he is a reserve guy, but
And he's
that
old.
would be my guess. And he's old,
And he's got busted knees.
Yeah.
And he hadn't played a lot of football in the past 2 years.
All that.
Yeah.
HDAV Traveler, afternoon, Landry, Cody, and friends. It's game day. Yes, it is. Shout out to the HDAV
Good
Traveler,
my friend.
The great Logan Taylor says D'Amico has seen this offense before. D'Amico should have a very good plan this game. I think that's an interesting point that you bring up there, because I think there's a couple of things. Nick Caley has prepared for this Seattle team, the Mike McDonald version, twice. He did so last year with Sean McVay. And I also would think that Sean McVay probably wants the Texans to win. I don't know if coaches call each other and like pick each other's brains when like a division opponent goes down, but I probably would, because I'm a petty guy. And on the other hand, a team that had a lot of success against them as well. This was before they got fully healthy, although they're still playing some good ball, and they'll be in town here in less than a week. San Francisco, Robert Saleh, they did a pretty good job against Seattle as well. And that's one of D'Amico's close friends. And one of the guys that he kind of looked up to when he started out coaching. So I do wonder if there is some sort of a factor there where, whether it's the experience that Nick Caley had or D'Amico and Saleh kind of playing the same style defense, if that does kind of factor in.
Both of the play callers and organizers of the game plan, this is not unfamiliar territory for them. It's not something new. Obviously, D'Amico Ryans is intimately familiar about the best version of that style of offense and how it's supposed to look. And I know he gave praise to Clint Kubiak for his adjustments and evolvements and tailoring it to the players and things like that. But it still has the tent poles and the bases of that Shanahan style. Obviously, D'Amico, under Kyle Shanahan in San Francisco, he knows what it's supposed to look like, and he knows where the weaknesses are. So you would think he's ready to attack it. And then your point about McVay, getting ready for Seattle last year with Caley at his hip, it's a useful one, and it certainly matters.
Yeah, and I mean, it's regardless of what the role was or wasn't for Nick Caley. I mean, he's the right-hand man of McVay, and he's kind of involved in the whole thing. That guy, Steven 5424.
You ain't never hate.
I don't even know what this means. He says Cody needs to do the sexy Dexy dance if we win. What the hell is that?
So Dexter Lawrence, the defensive tackle for the Giants, he does he calls it the sexy Dexy dance, and it's kind of like permeated through social media amongst like colleges, and you got people doing the sexy Dexy dance all over like TikTok and stuff, and it's a pretty easy dance for a big fella to hit. So,
okay, there you go. If they win, do it.
If they win, I'll do it, Steven.
Poor boy Jay says, hypothetically, if the Texans drop 40-plus points and blow out the Seahawks as well as holding them to less than 14 points, what does that say about our offense, and does that make our I mean, that makes you an immediate contender. I mean, if you
playing the parade, baby.
I mean, if that happens, then I mean, I'm prepared to call them a playoff team if they win this game. And I have stats, and we're going to get into some of the localized stuff that happened, because this is a rare opportunity where we're doing a show with pretty much all the action outside of Detroit and Tampa Bay in front of us. So you got to get a good idea of where you're going to sit or where you could potentially sit afterwards. We'll do that when we localize. But yeah, I mean, if you put an ass whooping like that on there, then I mean, all bets are off.
If you do that to the Seahawks, I don't know how people couldn't see you as one of the teams of the AFC that is on the rise and somebody you don't want to see on your schedule. And that would bode well for certainly their ability to build on what it would then be a 3-game win streak with 3 straight home games.
Mr. G King 95 says, my eye is on Juice Scruggs, Joe B trade loading.
Yeah, so Joel Bitonio is the left guard for the Cleveland Browns, if anybody's unfamiliar with that name. I don't know if Joel Bitonio wants to get traded. I know he doesn't have full say in that, but he almost retired this past offseason. He's playing much better than he did a year ago. So I don't know if the Texans want to give up an asset for a guy that didn't really want to leave Cleveland and almost quit football. So I'm not sure if that's somebody that's super exciting to them, but Juice Scruggs is a super – I mean, that center to the left tackle is the part of the offensive line that's should have a lot of extra eyeballs on it when you're watching tonight.
Yeah, I mean, maybe bad ones, you never know. Dime 6218 says, what ACV bets are on the table tonight?
Isn't it your turn for 3 realistic ingredients or whatever you call it?
No, I'll make this real easy for you. Whoever wins our fantasy matchup, the loser has to chug. And right now, you're actually in pretty damn good shape. You're actually favored because of the most chicken shit mop-up duty in the history of football with Justin Herbert. I was just completely wiping the floor with you. But right now, as we sit in our fantasy football matchup with a lot of bye weeks and injuries, I am up 8 points on Cody Stoots. He has Jahmyr Gibbs and Myers, the Seahawks kicker, and I have Fairbairn and Marks right there. So the loser has to drink 3 ounces of apple cider vinegar. Fair enough. You're the favorite on that.
Deal.
All right, there you go. Boom. Tomorrow, 9 a.m.
I'm going to do it at the end. I'm not ruining the whole show. Do it at the beginning.
Nah, you got to do it right off the top, dude.
No way. I'm not ruining the show.
You know what I noticed that nobody's talking about? This is kind of a case for football in the state of Texas. And we already know that football in the state of Texas is a big thing, but most of the big time players that we're talking about, or a few of them leading up to this, are from the great state of Texas. Daniil Hunter, Houston.
Mm-hmm.
Byron Murphy, DeSoto.
Mm-hmm.
Ed Ingram, who we'll hear from in a second. I'm not saying he's great, but he's a big part of it. Texas. Jackson Smith and Jigba, Texas. There's a lot of people from the state of Texas.
Yeah,
big factors in this game.
I mean, it's funny too because some of them got out of the state of Texas, and it's like, how do you get out of the state of Texas? All the great programs here.
Well, sometimes it kind of be like that. You know what else it'd be like when you get that TDECU debit card? Look at this pretty thing right here. Look at CJ Stroud. Look at that thing right there. TDECU, they've been helping Texans with their money for a long time. Right now, you can go to tdecu.org/Texans. You can get that pretty debit card. They'll look out for you. There's a lot of stuff that they got and a lot of stuff they'll take care of. They typically sponsor Reaction Monday, which has been pushed back to Tuesday because of the game. But TDECU is a big partner of the show. They're a big partner of CJ Stroud, big partner of U of H, and they should be a partner of you. They can help you out big time.
There's so many different benefits to being a TDECU member, and membership's required, and they're insured by the NCUA. But on top of the 15% off that you get at the Texans online team store when you have that Texans debit card, you get opportunities for access to pre-sale events at NRG Stadium, and all the different things that they can do to keep money in your pocket. You put your money with them, and then they keep the money in your pocket, in your account, because of all the different perks and things that they take care of. Your credit union's not just a slogan. They mean it. When you're a member there, you get treated with the highest level of respect, and they want to take care of you at TDECU. 15 greater Houston area locations for you to walk in, or you can get things started right there online, tdecu.org/Texans.
Shout out to TDECU, the greatness that is. Tonight on the postgame show, the TDECU Where Credit Is Due Landlock edition. Tomorrow on Reaction Monday, 9 a.m. right here, the Cody Stoots Where Credit Is Due edition. So we got you covered there. Ed Ingram, been a big part of things for the Texans. We actually caught up with the man, the myth, the legend from DeSoto, Texas. We caught up on Saturday when they had practice. I'd never really talked to Ed Ingram that much. He's obviously getting a lot of love. He's one of the highest rated guards in the league. I have the cold weather theory, which I threw his way. Let's hear 5 good minutes with your boys from SNL from Ed Ingram, who's going to be a big part of tonight's game. And oh, by the way, they missed each other. They're about 4 or 5 years apart, but Byron Murphy from the same high school as Ed Ingram, up 45, DeSoto High School, power program. Von Miller also from there as well. Let's hear from Ed Ingram. Assess the way you're playing. There's a lot of talk about the significant improvement from how you're playing now in Minnesota. How would you assess the way that you play?
I would just say I'm a lot more confident and a lot more focused. And I feel like all the reps I got in Minnesota really helped. And then coming here and having like the O-line coach and the system that we're in, it's kind of been like super easy to like focus on certain things. I feel like my attention to detail is just like a little bit more like in tune this year.
I've had the Ed Ingram theory. This is me personally kind of projecting. I wouldn't be able to function in Minnesota because it's too cold. Are you a hot weather guy?
I mean, you know, I'm from Dallas.
Yeah,
you know,
you're from Dallas,
I was born in
Louisiana. You're back
hot
here in
weather
the hot
stuff.
weather.
You know, I enjoyed Minnesota weather while I was out there because it was different. But, you know, I can't say I prefer the heat. You know, I'm just used to the heat. I think I prefer the cold personally.
What about Cole Popovich allows him to put you in position to play the way that you're playing right now?
I would just say, like, he's super demanding. He's always focuses on our fundamentals and our techniques, and he just never lets us get comfortable with where we are. Like, we're always trying to get better and better.
How often do you hear from teammates or people that you know about, hey, this Pro Football Focus grade, hey, look where you are on the rankings? Does that ever cross your mind? And what, I know that you guys have your own way of determining how well you're playing, but what does that mean to you when somebody outside the building's recognizing how well you're playing?
I mean, it's really crazy because, you know, like, I really don't be on social media like that during the season just because, you know, when you're doing good, you got good fans, and then when you're doing bad, you got negative attention and stuff. So I kind of just try to keep my head down and work, but it's great to hear, like, that I'm doing well and stuff. You know, that's my goal, to do well. You know, this is my 4th year in the league, so next year I'll be free agent.
You talked about the confidence. Is there a particular piece of your game that you're more confident in from previous years to now?
I just feel like I'm more confident overall. I just feel like, you know, my rookie year, you know, coming in as a rookie, so that was like a learning curve. And then last year I was coming off of my groin surgery and stuff, so I feel like that was in my head a lot. And then I didn't play like half the season last year, so that was in my head too. So now, like, throughout the offseason and stuff, I was being like more focused on being more confident. If you're confident in this league, you can go far.
Is 2019 LSU the best college football team of all time?
Come on now, by far. Come on, that's not even.
So what's the score if they play 05 Texas? Because I'm kind of 05 Texas biased. What's the score? How much y'all win by?
I think it might be a 20-point margin. I feel like we'll be up by 20.
All right, I'll put you on the spot more. I'm gonna create some LSU on LSU crime. Jamar Chase or Jefferson?
Dang, you can't let me pick them, bro. I always just say they both are two great players. It's hard to kind of pick between both of them. Okay. Both of them are good.
That's fair. Who's the best player out of DeSoto?
Out of DeSoto, probably Von Miller.
Okay. And you and Murphy missed each other, right? Byron Murphy went to DeSoto too.
He was a young kid when I was there.
Did y'all have any connections or anything like that, or just?
Not really. I mean, he probably knew about me and stuff like that, and I knew about him, so that's pretty much the only connection.
What are you seeing from him as you kind of studied? D'Amico's had a lot of praise for Byron Murphy's game.
He's a really good player. I feel like he's excelled. I'm super proud of like how he's excelled in the league so far. He's very powerful. You know, I feel like their whole unit kind of plays well together, which is pretty good.
Do you see a lot of stunts there? What challenges do stunts? I think they're 3rd in the league in stunts. What challenges is that for an offensive lineman?
I mean, stunts are like super hard because the challenges it makes like the O-line like play with each other. If you don't play with each other, you can get exposed. I mean, we've just got done watching a lot of these stunts, and a lot of these stunts produce sacks, which is not what we want, but of course they're really good at it.
When you guys talk about the offensive line, sometimes we hear about toughness. Who's the toughest offensive lineman on the team?
On the team?
You wouldn't want to scrap with this guy.
Probably Trent. Come on now. Like, that dude like 450 pounds. That dude's big. I wouldn't want to scrap with him.
I heard he couldn't even at one point he couldn't even fit like in an MRI machine one time. I'm serious. Like I heard like they had to like go give him like a different MRI machine one time.
Yeah, I believe it. I mean, he just told me that he could barely fit in first class on a plane, so I don't know how the heck he rides in planes.
Does he have like OG energy? Because we noticed like he wasn't healthy in minicamp, but he was always on the field and he was like behind the offensive line. Is he kind of like, he's not playing, but is he kind of like, I know Popovich is obviously the coach, but is he kind of like an extra coach too?
Yeah, he's big vet. Like if I ever have any questions, I talk to him. He talks to Tay a lot. I mean, we kind of all like bounce ideas off each other, but like he's somebody I look up to because I mean, I watched him in the league for a while now, and he's a pretty good player, so I trust him.
What's the place in Dallas like when you go back? Is there like a place where you have to eat?
I'd probably say Rudy's Chicken.
Rudy's Chicken. Hey, they had to rebuild that too because it was causing so much traffic. I know about Rudy's. Slap the pickles in the bread. Slap the pickles in the bread. They had to rebuild that. Like I think they got funding with that.
Yeah.
I'm all about Rudy's for sure. What about State Fair? You ever grub at the State Fair?
Man, yeah. I haven't been to the State Fair in I don't know how long. Probably since I was in high school, so I couldn't tell you. I wish I could be back there at the State Fair.
Yeah, he knows about Rudy's. He's from Dallas for sure. Appreciate you, man.
No problem.
All right.
The great Ed Ingram there. Shout out to Ed Ingram for joining us for 5 good minutes. Yeah, he's he's an interesting case study because I think he's playing well. Today's going to be by far his biggest test, and we'll see how he handles it and how he holds up. But I think that at the very least, it's probably a serviceable player, and it's definitely an upgrade from what you had in Kenyon Green. And the change of scenery, regardless of why, cold weather or whatever, it does seem to be at least playing out better than it did with Kenyon Green when he went to Philly.
You know what I thought of over the weekend? You know what popped into my brain about Ed Ingram? Do you remember back in, I think it was probably February. It might have been at the Combine or shortly thereafter when Nick Caserio was talking about Zach Bond with the Eagles. He's like, yeah, you sign a guy like Bond and he turns into one of the best football players at his position. And he's like, and we were like, oh, well, who's going to be his Zach? Like, what kind of player is Caserio going to get to turn into a Zach Bond? Ed Ingram's the only one that even has a chance of all the kind of like mid-level acquisitions that Caserio made. Ed Ingram's the only one, and it's paid off so far. He's playing pretty well. I don't know that any of us think he's playing as well as Zach Bond played for the Eagles last year, but I kind of thought about that over the weekend. I was like, I remember when he had that Zach Bond comment from the offseason. There's only one guy that could get anywhere close right now because all the other mid-level guys have turned up nothing basically. So Ed Ingram, the Zach Bond of linemen for this offseason.
I think between him and Juice, you look at those 3 interior guys. I'm keeping my eyes on Titus and really the whole offensive line. And I would say that would probably be the answer to this question. I don't want to speak for you. What are you concerned about most heading into this game? I think you would say the offensive line. I would not. I don't know if taking it a step further is the right way to say it, but I'm worried about how Nick Caley counters the offensive line. Like if the offensive line struggles, I don't think it should be the end all be all. I'm more concerned about how Nick Caley counters the inevitable offensive line struggles.
Yeah, my answer was, to not just be, hey, it's the offensive line. It's, how do you overcome the issues that will keep you from getting into rhythm on offense? Be it the offensive line not playing well, be it Seattle stopping the run game like they've done pretty well up to this point, or, Nick Caley, sometimes the questionable play calling. I know it's looked good for 5 quarters in a row, but we've got, 15 quarters worth of evidence where it was like, what the hell's this guy doing? Does he know what he's doing? So it's like, how do you get in a rhythm? And then when you fall out of rhythm because of the O-line or any of these other things, how can you get back in? How do you keep that consistency? Because CJ's much better when he gets in a rhythm, and you're not going to stay in a rhythm against this defense. So how do you get back in it? And how do you, counter punch when you get punched?
Yeah. And I mean, the defense is obviously you expect the defense to, I don't know, like keep you around. And I mean, it can,
sure.
I want to see also, it's almost a must now to get the rookies involved, I would say, with the Kirk thing. So maybe I would think that was probably going to be a thing for a while, but you're going to have to get those guys ready to go.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you're going to have to figure out a way. Somebody has to step up and help Nico Collins. So, and the likely options, I would tell you, are probably Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel. I know Xavier Hutchinson had 2 touchdowns the last time out, but you've got to have somebody that you trust out there as that third wide receiver. You got to have somebody that could be really good out of the slot, and you've got to be able to throw the ball to guys that aren't Nico Collins and still move the rock. And they haven't consistently shown that outside of that Baltimore game. But if you could find someone that you trust and find something there with this wide receiver room. That's, it hadn't been Christian Kirk. It's not going to be Christian Kirk for this one because he's not playing. So find somebody. It'd be a perfect moment for one of these rookies to step up and have a huge night. Man, that would be nice.
Look at that. Look at that shit. Look at those pickles. Look at that seasoning just right in there. The Rudy's chicken. My goodness.
So that's they're like a bone-in chicken place.
Yeah. I mean, you can get they run out of the tenders fast sometimes, man.
Gotcha.
It's a little
and it's like spicy.
Yes, very.
Okay.
Bread, like the bread, the white bread, like soaks it up, dude. Like it's
Gotcha. So it's like hot chicken.
Pretty intense. Oh, it's not like that. No. It's not like that. It tastes like chicken, just a little bit of seasoning.
Okay.
There. Yeah, good stuff. Little sauce. They got a little sauce too. It goes pretty quick. Don't know how well it travels, but yeah, they know what the deal is. Let's go to the soup real quick. Here on a game day version of SNL, special one to say the very least.
You ain't never hate.
Swarm.
Logan says, if Ingram continues playing at this level, do you see him resign? Yeah, I mean, yeah. If he plays at this level, yeah. I mean, you might as well franchise tag him at that point, and then negotiate. Yes, if he plays like the best guard in the league, like yeah, you got. I would hope you would let that franchise tag and figure something out.
It's worth noting that guys got paid tremendous amounts of money at guard last year with less than a season worth of results and with less potential than what Ingram has shown so far. Obviously, if he keeps it up over a year. I mean, I look at Will Fries, who went to Minnesota. He got nearly $90 million. He played half a season of really good football. Like if Ed Ingram has a really good season of football, then yeah, A, you're going to want to keep him, and B, it's if you can get a deal on it, sure, that's not really what Casario's been able to do from time to time, but yeah, if he plays this well for a whole season, he's going to be a very rich man. You even heard it when he was talking to us. He's like, feeling good. I'm going to be a free agent next year.
Yeah, he mentioned it. He knows.
Yeah.
He had the injury last year as well, so we'll see how it goes with Ed Ingram. He's one of the guys that we will be keeping an eye on. Is there anything you're concerned about on defense? Because we obviously focus a lot on the offense, rightfully so. For me, the defense, I'm watching MJ Stewart and I'm watching Jalen Petrie. And I know that Jalen Petrie got a lot of praise from D'Amico Ryans. Not saying he didn't deserve it for the way that he's played thus far, but I think when you start talking about play action, you start talking about wide zone runs combined with hitting guys out of the slot. That doesn't seem like that. That kind of seems like a good Petrie counter when you're talking about wide zone runs and hitting guys out of the slot. And MJ Stewart really hasn't been that tested up to this point. Did speak with him earlier this week. Seems confident, seems to kind of have the makeup that I think D'Amico Ryans likes, loves football, all that type of stuff. But I would say those would be the two guys that I would be the most concerned about. Outside of that, I mean, we could nitpick and say, Henry To'o, but I think he'll be able to hold up fine. And I think the stuff around him is fine. But I think there's possibility that MJ Stewart and Jalen Petrie could find themselves on islands. And you can throw Kalen Bullock in there as well. Kalen Bullock has a very big eye problem when it comes to what D'Amico Ryans says this is going to be an eye game. If it's an eye game, then I'm not going to exclude Kalen Bullock either. I'll say the safeties.
Yeah, I'm very intrigued to see how they avoid letting someone that's not Jackson Smith-Njigba getting going in the passing game. So Cooper Kupp out of the slot, AJ Barner, their tight end, has been really productive up to this point. That's if it's the tight end, is that a Henry coverage situation? Is that an Aziz coverage situation? Is that a Petrie coverage situation? And then with Cooper Kupp, how they defend him. He's not LA Rams Cooper Kupp, but he's still useful and decent. He had a really big touchdown catch last week for the Seattle Seahawks. So he'll still burn you if he gets going. So you got to make sure that Cooper Kupp's not dicing you up if Derek Stingley's taking care of Jackson Smith-Njigba.
Yeah, and Cooper Kupp, we already know this. He is a little bit faster than he looks.
Race car!
Deceptive speed. You know what's not deceptive? The beauty that is Texans turf. They've done a lot for me. I love Texans turf. I wanted turf. I almost quit. I almost got discouraged because most of these guys are scumbags. I'm not going to lie. They're scumbags. They give you these high minimums. They'll only like pick and choose what job they do. They half-ass it. They don't put up the drainage. They don't give you options. They always recommend the most expensive thing instead of what fits your home the best. That's not what Dan did. And Dan was damn near 10 places I went and looked to because I wanted turf in the backyard. And I was about discouraged, but then Dan the man and his team, they came through for me, and they can do for you what they did for me. They've done some big jobs, full soccer fields all the way down to small yards. They got you covered at Texans turf. Putting greens, play areas, always green, always clean. No more insects, no more mud. I cannot wait for the fall. Got the fire pit out there. Fire up Texans turf. You will not regret it. It's one of the best things that I did for my home.
Yeah, you can get that free estimate scheduled up right there on the website, texansturf.com, and you can see all the beautiful work they've done for the people across this fine city. So texansturf.com, it'll have everything that you need right there, and check them out.
Yep, check them out. They got you covered. And the Texans turf, King of the Turf, post game tonight and tomorrow on Reaction Monday/Tuesday. My version tonight on post game, Cody's tomorrow. Sometimes they're the same. Sometimes they're not. Let's go back to the soup here on a special game day edition of SNL, hours away from Texans versus Seattle.
You ain't never hate.
Swarm.
The Rhino says, just saying because I'm a Stover guy. He posted a story with a clock on it, so he's on the way.
That would be a lot faster than Nick Caserio intimated during the bye week. He sounded like Stover was a little bit further away.
I've seen him walk, and it doesn't look like he's that close.
I mean, he during the bye week, he spent some time on the farm, and he was out doing farm stuff, so he can't be that hurt.
Dude, that guy could have no legs, and he would be doing stuff on the farm. Are you kidding me?
Okay, well, he loves farming, and then he loves football. It would stand to reason he'd try to get back playing football soon, too.
He's probably doing the upper body stuff. He's probably doing the hay. Yeah,
I wouldn't. I'd be surprised if he gets that practice window activated anytime soon.
Yeah, I would be too. We're going to localize the action from the weekend in a sec. First, I got to ask this question. So I thought about this. I actually asked Hawks Blogger. I'll see if he responded. Very curious to see the answer to this question. Haven't gotten it yet. But do you think Sleepless in Seattle is the beatdown that Houston we have a problem is here? Like in Seattle, do you think like that? Do you think I know, but do you think that the people get as tired of that as he does?
No,
as we do here.
I don't think so. Sleepless in Seattle's nowhere near as big as the space program. No way. No way. I mean, Sleepless in Seattle, like, there's really not that many. There's also like not that many opportunities to use Sleepless in Seattle and have it. I mean, at some point you're just shoehorning it in. Something goes wrong with any Houston team, and some national person is just slapping that on the head.
I feel like Will Kunkel used it a month ago.
That's the bar.
But it is
tonight. Tonight it would be appropriate. The game starts at 9:00 Central Time. If some Houstonian wants to use it, sure.
Cody's blowing his cover. If they lose, it's going to be Sleepless in Seattle. There it is. Get your Houston football email alert ready. As soon as you see the word Sleepless, you know Cody's done his work.
I don't need that to be in my headline. I come up with far better headlines than that.
All right, so what are you most confident in? What are you most confident in heading into this thing?
I believe in this defensive line getting after Sam Darnold and making it tough for the rushing attack to get going for the Seahawks. That is what I am most confident in about this defense. I can't just say the full defense, but those four guys up there, I believe they're going to make Darnold's life very tough tonight. They're going to force him into some check down stuff, some quick decisions where he can't make it a big play, an explosive play. And then if they're tackling well, they put him behind the sticks or they force him to punt. And then these are the four guys that need to be like the defensive lines need to be really good when Kenneth Walker's in the game to slow down this rushing attack.
Yeah, I'm confident in Stingley doing whatever he's asked to do. and I'm confident in Will Anderson and Daniil Hunter to do what they need to do. And I'm very confident in that. I can't say Nico Collins because he's dependent on things that we don't have significant confidence in. So we've seen some good stuff from Nick Caley lately. We haven't seen it against a good team. So I can't say that, but I mean, downset Hut, Will Anderson, Daniil Hunter, they can wreck a game. And that's going to be the thing that I'm going to keep an eye on. So that's where my confidence lies right there. Best edge duo in the league.
And like, if it's a close game or it's a game where the Texans got a little bit of a lead and like, oh, Seattle's trying to get back in the game. You watch it up and down yesterday's schedule and yesterday's results, up and down, big time defensive players went in there and made big time defensive plays to either get their team back in it or keep the other team from getting back in it. So it's up to those guys to make some big time defensive plays and get the Texans in it or keep the Seahawks from getting back in it if the Texans are ahead.
Yep. No doubt. 100%. No doubt. Frank Ross, he will get you fired up for this one. This was Frank Ross talking about what his how he's living this week, really.
The only thing in the world that matters to me right now is my family and being 3-3. That is it. So whatever it takes every week, that's how I attack it.
Okay.
He was jazzed up.
That
was after he spent over a minute praising how good the Seahawks are on special teams. They have a Harbaugh coach in special teams, so you know they were going to be good.
Yeah, and he was also a little bit disrespectful in that mention, by the way. He didn't mention Michael Dixon, and that was very, very shady of him. That was very sketchy.
I thought he didn't have to mention Dixon because it's like a known quantity.
Right, he didn't mention him, and that's an MVP of the Texas Bowl. That building he was sitting in was an MVP as a punter in a bowl game. So he better put some respect on his name next time, or else it's going to. By the way, though, I do think this is an under the radar punting battle. 2 of the 4 highest paid punters in the league, little Aussie style, little traditional American style with Tommy Townsend. Like this is an under the radar punting battle, and we don't know what the weather's going to be like. I know this is nerdy as fuck, but I'm being dead serious. I think the punting battle could really factor into this game.
The difference between these guys is less than a yard on the average. Both teams cover really well. And Townsend actually has a better net on the season.
Big time.
And so, yeah. And look, Tommy's had some huge kicks to start this season. He's also had a couple of, hey, what happened there? And it went like 25 yards. Can't have too many of the, hey, what happened there in this one.
So we've talked about this. We've worn these 2 words out. I'm glad we don't have to really say this next week. I don't think. I haven't really dove into. Yeah, San Francisco doesn't stun a lot.
Yeah, they do the Texans thing where they just let their 4 guys go.
Yeah, well, especially when they are at full strength. Maybe they get a little bit more creative now. But stunts and play action. I asked Matt Burt, defensive coordinator, about what goes into using stunts. This is what he had to say.
Both have good defenses, but y'all kind of attack differently on the D-line. They use a lot of stunts. Y'all are near the bottom in stunts. What goes into the decision of whether or not to use stunts?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I haven't really watched their defense, if I'm being honest, so I can't speak to how they play. But, just for us, again, it's just, I think I've talked about this before, as we look at, approaching protections. At the end of the day, we have good players at a starting point. So, we want those guys to be able to go perform and shine. And so, week to week, you're looking at protections and at, again, specific players in the O-line and how you can attack those, whether that, calls for movements or pressures or patterns or whatever that is. So I think that's just a week to week thing in terms of, do we like our matchups? Do we just want our guys to be able to go work? What looks good against this protection? Can we predict these protections and how, what's effective against them? So, at the end of the day, we like our front and we like our players and we want them to just go be good players for us. So sometimes that just means let them go win some run-on-ones.
All right, there you go. And Seth actually texted me. He saw that, and it basically just they take longer to develop. And typically, when you have badass players, you just don't need to run stunts. That's a very nice in-depth stuff. I'm sure he laid out. But
yeah, my big thing that when I asked Seth about him, that he always talked about is that if they don't work, he goes, typically the quarterback has a ton of time. So if you could stop them, like if you see him developing and you stop him, it's usually a big advantage for the offense. Ed Ingram said it. Hey, most of their stunts result in sacks. It's like, oh, okay. Not good.
So you asked about the running back situation. There were some people frustrated with Woody Marks. They put him on their fantasy team, and you could sense the undertone. You asked Nick Cayley like what the feel is of the Chubb Woody duo.
Chubb and Woody.
And this is what he had to say about that feel.
There might be some specific things, especially early on that we might, whether it's trying to make sure we're not getting too lopsided with volume of reps and stuff like that. So you try to balance those things off. That could be a series by series deal. It could be a quarter deal. And then, there are some guys that might have a better feel as you get going with certain things. But generally speaking, we have faith in really the guys we have in the room to be able to roll in there and, on really all three downs, to be honest with you.
All right, there you go. I don't know about all that, but okay, whatever you say, Coach.
Don't throw it to Nick Chubb. Throw it to Woody Marks. If you want to throw it to a running back, don't throw it to Nick Chubb. Throw it to Woody Marks.
Yeah, whatever you say there, Coach. We'll take your word for that. Now, we brought up previously the experience that Cayley has with Seattle. I asked him about that. This is what he had to say.
You've faced Seattle the last couple of years.
Yep.
With the Rams in the overtime game last year. What are the challenges maybe that their defense presents as well as just the atmosphere as a whole?
Yeah, well, they're extremely well coached. Mike does a great job. I think they have a really, really, really good defensive grouping in terms of, at every level, really disruptive. They play with great energy. They're a really talented outfit. And then you talk about the environment. I mean, it's a great environment for football. It's loud. It's a ruckus environment. They get into it. So, for a Monday night game, especially a primetime game, if you love football, I mean, it's going to be an outstanding atmosphere to go play a football game in. And I mean, it's a great place, and it's a loud environment, and it's a talented team that's very well coached. Got a lot of respect for them.
Yeah. No doubt. Got a lot of respect for him. I don't know if that factors in or not. I do think it's interesting if you prepared with McVay all that time, but
it's not like you're unfamiliar with what a McDonald does as a defensive signal caller or defensive operator. I know he's the head coach, but organizing the defense, setting it up, like you're not going in off just film like you saw it against a team that, hey, when we did this, it didn't work against them. Maybe we don't do that, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. So, Shane on the soup, he says, put this towards the Sean Pendergast fund of getting him an actual mic for the Texans collective. Just jokes. Aha, love you, boys.
Thank you, Shane. Appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, I tried to fix it before, but when it's a 3-on-1 match, it's kind of hard. Anyway, what, Stoots?
I didn't say anything.
You got nothing to add to that.
It's fixed for tomorrow.
There you go. It's fixed for tomorrow.
I don't worry about the past. Don't worry about the next game.
Okay, I'll remember that next time you try your draft hypotheticals, buddy. I
didn't say draft. I do worry about the draft and who you should have drafted and who you shouldn't have drafted. Hey, did you see Kyle Monungai, the third down running back for the Chicago Bears, score a touchdown yesterday?
I did.
You know
Graham Mertz.
You know who he was drafted after?
Say Graham Mertz.
Graham Mertz. Did you see Brashard Smith, who now is an integral part to the Chiefs because Kareem Hunt's hurt?
Yeah, and he's gonna score a touchdown in the Super Bowl or something like that.
You know who he was drafted after?
I wanted him.
Do you know who he was drafted after?
I don't. Who?
Graham Mertz.
Oh wow. Graham Mertz was spinning it the other day at practice, though.
I don't give a damn.
So let's localize. Speaking of the Chiefs and speaking of the rest of the AFC, it's a very rare opportunity for us on a Monday where the Texans haven't played and pretty much the whole outlook of the league is right in front of us. Now,
every AFC team's in the books.
Now,
here's the Texans.
Here's the thing I find interesting. 8 AFC teams with winning records right now, three of which have 3 losses. So you have a chance to tie 3 of the 8 teams that have winning records in the AFC in the loss column. Now, one of them is on the outside looking in. That's the Chiefs. And then the other two, Jacksonville is one of them. And then you also have Cincinnati, like right beneath you, who seem to have a pulse. Let's just do a little rapid fire of the localized week 7 things. And let's start, you know where we're starting, with the Indianapolis Colts. Do you believe in Indy yet?
Boy, I feel pretty foolish for doubting them. It's not like I feel like they've beat a really good football team. Turns out there may not be very many really good football teams that they've played yet on their schedule, but it's hard to not look at them and say, man, they've got the NFL's best running back right now. They've got the NFL's best tight end right now. They've got an offensive line that is playing an incredible level of football, which has allowed their typically awful quarterback to just be easy at the quarterback position. And then I was questioning if their defense is going to be able to kind of, get over the hump and finish off games. And I mean, they got through and got to Herbert enough there at the end to put the Chargers away. And they seem to be very, very good. And I'll be interested to see when their schedule gets hard if they can hold up against the good teams. But they are building in such a wide margin of error for themselves that even if they lose some games, they're going to be well equipped to be in the not only playoff picture, but in the playoff seeding conversation when it gets there.
They have the best running back and the best tight end in football right now. I would say Jonathan Taylor. Maybe we can talk McCaffrey and Bijan for sure, but I don't think Jonathan Taylor is far behind. They have that. I think Tyler Warren's the best tight end in the game right now. I don't even know if that's particularly close at this point. And their offensive line's really, really good. Which we can sit here and point to the quarterback, but when you have that, oh yeah, by the way, I think they have very underrated receivers too. So like all this stuff about Daniel Jones, I don't disagree, but all things are not equal when it comes to a quarterback, and his surroundings are pretty fantastic. Oh, by the way, I like Shane Steichen too, as a head coach. So I believe Indy is a really, really good team. Does that mean the Texans can't beat them when push comes to shove? No, it doesn't mean that at all. But I do think they're a factor. I do think they're a problem, and I do think they look like a team. I compared them to last year's Vikings. I think the upside might be a little bit higher because of how well they can run the ball.
Yeah, I mean, Jonathan Taylor he's cleared every other running back by 100 yards in rushing yards, and only Bijan and Christian McCaffrey have more scrimmage yards than him. So, I mean, he's right there in the conversation with those two guys for Offensive Player of the Year.
Are the Jags crumbling? Now, I called my shot on this, Cody. I like the Jags as a team. I think they're good. They're right there on the same level with the Texans. They're above the Texans, if we're being honest, because they've already beat them. But when I watched that Kansas City game, I said, this is more about the Chiefs than it is the Jags, because that was a ass backwards game-winning drive if I've ever seen it. And ever since then, they've completely crumbled. And the Chiefs, who we'll get to in a second, they look pretty damn scary. Are the Jags crumbling in front of our eyes? Yesterday was a pretty big ass whooping in their second home, London. Matthew Stafford, first quarterback in NFL history to throw 5 touchdown passes in London. Just a complete thumping. And by the way, can these asshole coaches quit just ignoring field goals? Like, it's okay to kick field goals early on. They actually would have been a close game if they would have settled for the 3 field goals they could have kicked. But all these coaches just think they have to go for it all the time.
Yeah, all these coaches worry so much about if we get it, the momentum. It's like, well, the momentum, if you don't get it, is pretty bad too. I'm less worried about the Jaguars because the next 2 weeks they have the opportunity to reset the deck, clear everything out. They got their bye week this week, and then they get the Raiders out of the bye week. So and the thing that I think, I don't know, like you and I both like Liam Cohen as an offensive minded coach. I don't know why it took him all the way to this point in the season to realize that I should have Travis Hunter on the football field a lot more when I play offense. Like I wonder if they've now, with the focus and getting him going and him scored a touchdown, like wonder if they realize that's the guy and that's the position they need to be using him in. And Brian Thomas Jr.,
He looks broken. That's the problem. I agree with you. Like I think we both thought that Travis Hunter was the best receiver in the draft. I did. But the problem is now Brian Thomas Jr. just looks broken. Like he can't catch. He's scared of contact. He's not consistent. Like it's almost weird because this guy who you thought was going to be awesome and you're going to pair him with this guy. It's almost like now they're like, oh, we got to get Travis Hunter out there because he's actually about it and Brian Thomas isn't.
It's Brian Thomas is going through a reverse Nico. And they stopped using him the way that they used him last year. Like they put him they sent him over the middle, and Trevor Lawrence just throws hospital ball after hospital ball to these guys. They've got some soul searching that they need to go through offensively in the bye week. And then, I mean, that defense just got shredded by Stafford, who was, he was on. So that'll happen sometimes. Yeah, the Jags, they got a chance. We'll find out a lot about Liam Cohen these next 2 weeks with the bye week and then the Raiders game.
Yeah, I mean, the Raiders, that's a get right if you've ever seen one. Are the Chargers broken? That's the question. Are the Chargers broken?
Yep, they sure are. They sure are. There's all the signs of, man, Harbaugh should have this handled. There's so many things that he doesn't have handled. They can't run the football. That's a Harbaugh hallmark.
I mean, they're a little bit beat up on the offensive line.
They're broken on the offensive line. They're on their 7th and 8th offensive tackles.
They're talking about how much they miss Austin Deculus.
The interior. And he was like in and out of the game yesterday. Like sometimes he's playing. He got hurt. I don't know. And then they're really bad on special teams, which is something that Harbaugh teams typically aren't. And their defense doesn't have any juice. And so, I mean, and they got Khalil Mack back yesterday, and it looked like it didn't matter to the Colts that Khalil Mack was on the football field. So the Chargers are broken. This feels like a season where, right in the middle, they might try to reset the deck and just kind of worry about the next year. I don't see them righting the ship and turn it into a team you need to worry about.
Then you have the Denver Broncos, and this was the game of the week. I mean, my God, 33 points I think they had in the fourth quarter. I know that this is one of those things where I think your season can get flipped at the snap of a finger, much like the Texans tonight with the win in Seattle. Denver went from very flawed to where this could be what we point to and say that's the turning point of their season. Like the Giants meltdown, it could have a reverse impact because Bo Nix was looking like sophomore slump, like a mofo. Now all of a sudden his confidence is up. So you blow the game if you're the Giants, then you take it back and then you blow it again. Denver is like a polarizing team. Some people were really buying, some people were really selling, but the manner in which they win that game is one of those games where you just kind of turn the corner, specifically your quarterback. Like we talk about CJ Stroud and yeah, it was Baltimore and yeah, it was Tennessee in the fourth quarter. And, but that's, you look at that and you say, could that be a turning point? I think it works the same way because we like to be fair. Like this could be a turning point win type of vibe for Denver.
Oh, everything started to click for them. They had been pathetic on offense for a few games. Like there was a stretch where they had punted on every non-kneel down drive for like 11 straight drives, with the exception of a one-play safety drive. Like they had been really bad. And then that fourth quarter happened. It was like Bo Nix just was like, oh yeah, okay, I could do this. He started running around. He's running for scores. He's ripping it across the middle. Marvin Mims is a really good football player for them. He made some huge plays in that game. Of course, they've got Cortland Sutton. And they just figured it out, got it going. Their defense made enough plays to give them the ball back a couple opportunities. Like Denver feels like a team that is, if they can, like it feels like they've unlocked what their offense could do. I'm not saying they're putting 33 points every quarter they go out there, but they were awful on offense, and then they put up 33, and it's like, hey guys, we can do this. Like it feels like they've sort of unlocked something.
Yeah, they're a problem. They're a legit problem. On the
and by the way, Denver's going up against the Cowboys next, so that offensive momentum should carry over.
Josh Arnoldy says, just now tuning in, I'm going to be useless at work tomorrow. Feels like we haven't watched Texans football in forever. Well, we haven't. I mean, it's been a hell of a long time. So yeah, be as worthless as you want. Just show up. Tomorrow's just an attendance grade. I don't know what you do. Maybe you do something like really important, but yeah, just show up. Just show up. Is Kansas City the scariest team in the AFC?
Boy, they sure look like it. I mean, I'd like to see him with Rashee Rice, not against a AAA football team. Basically, the Raiders are disgusting. They're pretty darn good, man. They are pretty darn good, and Rashee Rice gives them a whole nother element. And they didn't even really have to use him that much. I know they got him the ball a lot, but they didn't even have him on the field a bunch. They're starting to figure out their rushing attack a little bit. Kelsey looks like he's in a much better form than last year. And again, that's an organization that's going to, if they feel like they're pretty close, they've not been afraid to make moves in the past. So if they feel like they need something, they may go make a move.
They don't even need to. I mean, the way that Mahomes is playing, he's.
Well, I just mean defensively. Like if they feel like they're a pass rusher short or a linebacker short or something, they go add something.
It's just ridiculous. And now the Bengals, by the way, they have life. They have at least the ability to tread water with Joe Flacco. You can thank the Browns for that. They were dead. They were drowning. It was over. It was finished. You knew it. I knew it. And now Flacco's out there, and the Bengals. They have an opportunity now to tread water and perhaps hang around until Joe Burrow's ready to go. Who knows when that will be? But they're alive, man. They're very much alive after being very much dead.
Yeah, they could be a team that hangs around in the 6-7 playoff range in the AFC, just because they have the ability to build some momentum. The Jets are next up for them, so that's a win. Then they've got the Bears after that, then the Steelers after that. Like it's not a daunting schedule. They build a little momentum. They just got to hang around till Burrow gets there, and they have the ability to do that with Flacco.
All right, now
also 33 points against a pretty decent Pittsburgh Steelers defense. Like on Flacco, who got there, a couple of weeks before that. Let's not try to act like offense is too terribly hard in the NFL. Okay. Get it to the players that are good. Protect the quarterback.
Dude, he's like 40. I mean, a difference between Joe Flacco is a little bit different than someone. I mean, that's one of the better arms that we've seen. And he's been doing it for a while.
Yes, but he didn't even know some of the plays, and they still scored 30 points against a decent defense.
Yeah, but
let's not overcomplicate how hard it is to move the football in the NFL.
Joe Flacco, and very few. He's one of.
I'm giving him credit.
Oh, you're talking about them dumbing it down for him. Okay, yeah, I get it. Okay. Yeah, I'm just defensive about Joe Flacco. I feel you.
He's been there for less than 2 weeks, and he goes and scores 33 points. Like, let's not overcomplicate how hard it is to coach offense in the NFL.
He's also got a good brain, though, as well. 3 AFC teams to look at when teardowns start. We've gone through the contenders as we localized Texans things. 3 AFC teams to look to when teardowns start. I would say one of them would be the Jets.
Yeah, the Jets is the obvious one.
A little bit of a scare, and then he came back in.
Yep, he was back. So the Jets is at the top of the list. I mean, they should be selling pieces here pretty soon. The Oakland Raiders is next. That's not getting any better anytime soon. That
Cowboys trading for Crosby. That's like one of their big takes now.
Oh, I mean, he's got a back injury all of a sudden, so it's like I don't know if you
back and leg.
So that's that, and then the other team. I know some people are going to say, "Oh, well, the Browns kind of like." I don't know if they might be feeling themselves a little bit. I think there's a piece here or there, but the Browns do dumb stuff a lot of times, but the Dolphins is the other team. I mean, they are about 2 weeks away from giving you anything that's not nailed down.
Yeah, it's a dumpster fire. By the way, Quinshaw Judkins pretty good. He is what we thought he was.
Yeah. But that's Judkins doing what he does after, again, let's not overcomplicate how tough offense is in the NFL. He didn't even have like training camp, and then he showed up and he was awesome right away. And then Travion Henderson not being able to get on the field in New England, despite all of the issues that they've had. I don't know what he did to Vrabel. Like,
no, I don't know. Who does Mike Vrabel hate more, Travion Henderson or Amy Adams Stank?
He might hate Travion Henderson more. Travion Henderson couldn't even get mop-up duty against the Titans.
Hey, he's not a fan.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there, but Judkins seems to be pretty good. And I would think that The running back rooms of those three teams, the Raiders, the Dolphins, and the Jets are definitely things to keep an eye on. Obviously, they're not trading Genty, but anybody else in the running back room should be available in Las Vegas.
You ain't never hate.
Swarm.
20 says he's calling Texans 28-20. Petrie gets another INT. I'm the Nostradamus of predictions. All right, there you go. Hopefully you're right, man. It'd be fun. It's more fun when they win, for sure.
He said Nostradamus.
Oh, Nostradamus. Okay. Yeah.
Nostradamus.
Oh, God. Well,
I hope he's right. That'd be, 28-20 would be fantastic. Petrie with another interception, sure.
can the Texans recover from a loss tonight?
Yes.
5-5 was what we said before. 6-4 would still be alive with the upcoming stretch if this did happen. But it would be kind of tough, especially with the Bengals having life now.
It would be a huge hit to your confidence if you lost this game.
Yeah, you come off 15 days of rest. It's a game that you've been gassed up for, hyped up for. I think it completely turned the season, which brings us to the next one. What would a win mean? For me, I think this is a playoff team if they win this game. If they win this game with what they have laid out and the opportunity ahead, then I'm gonna be talking about them like they're a playoff team. If not, we go back to the tread water phase.
Yeah, this is a chance to build a tremendous head of steam heading into that second part of the schedule, because you get to 3 straight with a win over Seattle, who's one of the better teams in football right now, and then you've got 3 straight home games staring you in the face against 3 teams that you should be able to beat. And now you're talking about the potential for 6 straight wins, or you go 5-1 in a 6-game stretch. Like, that's a really good section of the schedule. And then boom, you hit that Titans Bills back to back before the little mini bye after Thursday Night Football, and there you go.
Doyle says horns up from Seattle, go Texans. By the way, Doyle apparently has a fish allergy, and he's in Seattle trying to eat. That's a little tough, bro.
Well, I'm sure he could find something.
But you're not maximizing it.
Well, is he supposed to just die in the name of food?
No.
It's just the name of my autobiography.
All right. On that note, appreciate everyone for coming through. By the way, shout out to everyone who joined us at Spanky's on Friday. Another banger. And we will be out there on Halloween. Halloween on the 31st. So join us. My God, that chicken Alfredo lasagna was off the freaking hook. Those Hurricanes, big hit too. A lot of people really enjoyed those.
Yep. It was fantastic. The Hurricanes are delicious. The chicken Alfredo lasagna, it's a limited time thing, so get it while it's there. And we'll have some fun Halloween stuff for you. And I will be in costume, thanks to one of our loyal listeners.
All right, there you go. Subscribe, like, ride along. Post-game show coming up shortly. Reaction Monday tomorrow at 9 a.m. Texans Collective. After that at 6, and we will be on a roll. Subscribe, like, ride along. Always remember, when it comes to this Texans stuff, we're all in it together.
Eat good, sleep good, be good. We'll talk Texans again soon. Thanks for watching, everybody.